My whole point is they're not forced in, Michelle. They're making a choice to be dumb just like their mama.
Ready to jump on her. You're so ready to judge her. You're so ready to tell her what she gotta do. How she
we're ready to leave her ass out in the cold until you gives her damn life together.
Your failure to really this is the problem. Your failure to understand what this lady is saying is really ridiculous, and it displays a high level.
I don't even got the women wanting to drag women down.
No, it's not even that. The problem is this.
This is hilarious.
What you said, which was vital. You don't pay attention to the people that ain't listening.
If you ask men what is most likely the main reason why they don't get married, it's the women's attitude. And then you couple that on top of what happens in the event of divorces. That's why men don't get married. Most men are still doing.
What did you say, nigga?
Most women, again, we already know that most women are overweight, right? We know that without a shadow of a doubt. But when you ask men why don't they marry, what do they say?
We gotta talk about that sign.
They got a bad attitude. I agree.
It's because they have a bad attitude. I've seen plenty of men marry a chick who was overweight because she had a good attitude and she was supportive.
And I've seen plenty of men marry a woman who was hot. Lord, she had a bad attitude.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather marry a woman with a bad attitude that can fit in her drawers. And
that will make you a part of the crazy people who do crazy shit, because that's exactly and then when she take you to the cleaners, then you gonna be on YouTube red pilling out because your woman took you to the cleaners.
If black women actually, in droves, turn around and lost a lot of weight, they wouldn't get married. All their ass go on OnlyFans because they lazy as hell. They're just going to get on OnlyFans.
How do you know this? But you know what? Hold on, wait, Nicole. You know what? Wait, hold on. You know what?
And they're gonna have an attitude with the dude paying them.
Do that. You know the reason that they do this shit. The reason a lot of women go to OnlyFans. Dr. Jordan Peterson talked about this actually. He said a lot of the times, women, and I just watched this a couple minutes ago. He said that women actually go through puberty a year and a half faster that don't have fathers in their lives than girls that do have their dads in their lives. So the problem is, if men, this is why I always say on all my platforms, what I always say, Nicole, men are overall responsible. If men stayed in the goddamn house they make these kids with, right, especially their daughters, you wouldn't have this problem. All those women, all them fat women that you're talking that shit about, they lose that weight, then they go find a goddamn husband. All the shit you saying now goes out the window. They wouldn't go on. They would have.
What does that say to the 50% of men that don't?
Hold on, so this is how I look at it. But then, so we all know that we gender, right? So we are different. So when you let this man stay in the house with a lady that has an attitude, what happens? What is the man going to do?
When you say elaborate, what do you mean when you say you let him stay in the house?
Okay, so we know the show Snapped, right? I'm just giving an example. Yeah. So the men who are staying with these ladies with these terrible attitudes, I'm just using that point. They eventually are going to snap because they just physically, mentally, whatever, can't deal with it for some odd reason, right? That's something that they need to go and check because they got to be able to control their emotions as well because they can't deal with disrespect, right? But at the same time, these men that are feeling disrespected, what do they do when they feel disrespected by one of their peers, a friend that's a male? They fight, right? So they have to learn how to not do these things when they're with women, but they seem to not be able to do that. So what's happening is there's abuse going on. There's domestic violence going on. I'm just talking about the man though. So it seems like they're like not staying for this other reason of just they can't deal with the lady per se. It's not the child. Of course, men want to be with their kids.
If you're making the argument
my question is why do black women have attitudes?
Because the reason a lot of black women have a problem is because they are forced to rest in a state of masculinity more than they ain't coerced. They're forced to rest in a state of
what?
Forced by who?
If you let me finish my statement, you might figure out where I'm going.
Let them talk and then respond. Go ahead.
Most black women have been forced into a position to have to rest in masculinity more than femininity, which causes them to suffer
this is so sad.
A heightened sense of aggression. And again, what I'm saying is not coming just from, this is not me conjecturing this shit. This is coming from, again,
Dr. Jordan Peterson. I'm assuming because that's
Dr. Jordan Peterson. I mean, if he's a smarter man than any of us, he's a more educated man than any of us in here. So I would imagine that he would be just as credible a source.
What are they being forced by?
That's not the answer.
I just don't know why
women are being forced by Dr. Jordan Peterson to be masculine.
No,
I
that's
just
not
wonder
it.
why
If you look at what has happened,
Dr.
if you
Jordan
look at what has
Peterson
happened,
is forcing women to
if
be
you look at
masculine,
what
is
has
what you're
happened in
saying,
the
right?
black, if you look at what has happened in the black community, right? Whether you want to, again, you can look at the data. Black women and men have always been. We have a matriarchal society in the black community. So that's not actually the way that God intended for it to be. But the truth of the matter is that black women are the predominant rearers of the child. They're the predominant caregivers. And so what happened is, and again, Kevin Samuel said the same thing.
Here come that twang.
We have a generation of harder women and softer men. We've had this problem for God knows how many years. Why we're acting like this is some
30
mystery?
years.
I'm sorry?
30 years.
It's longer than that. It's been longer than that.
No, it has not.
You know it's been longer than that.
It has not.
It has not. I keep trying to tell you, bro. I grew up around different types of women,
Your
and
anecdotal
they were
experience
nobody like the women now.
Mr.
Your
Lego,
anecdotal experience
hold on,
don't mean
Mr.
shit.
Who are they being forced to become in this masculine state?
Dr. Jordan Peterson is forcing them, bro. That's what he said.
So I agree with Austin. I have a lot of friends outside of my race. I have more Asian, Hispanic, Caucasian friends than I have black friends. And I noticed that they don't have this angry masculine attitude that you talk about.
Because they have daddies, Kelly.
Exactly. So when you have a childhood where you're protected by your father, you're protected by your brothers, you don't have to worry about trying to get a job to help mom pay the bills. You don't have to worry about boys bothering you. You have a father there to protect you. There's a lot less anger and aggression you have to put forward. They're forced to be hard. They're forced to put up this. If you are in a soft environment, you don't have to build up a callus. So they're put in a harder environment. My white friends are like, oh no, my dad pays all my bills. I don't even have to have a job, and I can just go through school and he pays for school and everything. And oh, I just got a job after finishing college, and I have a boyfriend that and then they're the race that all the men want to marry. So they get passed right from their father to their husband, and they don't have to worry about that. And if they do get pregnant, their parents take care of it. So they're not running around single moms with this stigma. So they don't have that hard lifestyle that they have to grow up in, and they're not forced to be these rough, aggressive women. So, and then their husbands, they marry them and they take care of them and they stay and they have babies and they get them a nanny and they get them.
So Kelly, the reason why I have a problem with the word forced is because for the first generation of stupid ass woman who decided to have a father's baby, she wasn't forced. So you got to look at the word forced. No, these were dumbass choices, generation after generation after generation. Stupid, idiotic.
Hey, Leah, you got to mute up.
Not forced.
So can your mic is forced.
Here's the key.
Can I jump in here really quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Nicole. I'll shut up.
I actually help women with femininity, and I did come on the scene rather gangbuster and going at black women, say you need to do this and you need to do that. Life has a way of humbling you, and with a lot of prayer, I had to take a look at the black community for what it really is, and I had to start being more balanced. Even my husband came to me and said, you gotta pull up on sisters just a little bit. You gotta become more balanced. When I took a look at Hood Time, there's a channel, Junior, if you've heard of Hood Time on YouTube, go take a look at that channel. And they show you West Philly. They show you parts of Chicago. They show you parts of Baltimore. The place, it looks like somebody opened up a trash bag and literally let trash out on the city. It's crime ridden. How is a woman supposed to be feminine and soft in that environment with no father? The police are non-existent. It's a food desert. Right, you're surrounded by crime and noise, and the schools are and respectfully for all the people who you're doing it, how you have to do it. So this is no shade to you, but I'm speaking and giving grace to women who had to grow up in that. It's not their fault that their mom made those decisions, that daddy wasn't there. She's making it the best way she can. Why is it she gets no grace? Those black women get no grace. You're supposed to just get it right. And you're supposed to be just like Becky, who had daddy in a home, generational wealth, like patriarchal understanding from the beginning. Our girls are growing up matriarchal. They do
Let
not.
me ask you a
But
question.
why?
Hold on, wait,
The question is why, Michelle?
Hold on, wait, Mr. Let go.
Hold on, y'all.
Let
her land.
They don't even see the balanced perspective of the masculine and the feminine in the home. Why is it we can make all concessions and all excuses and all arguments for how brothers are doing it, getting out the mud, making mistakes, cleaning it up, but when it comes to sisters, she's supposed to have it right no matter what? And I had to take a look at that and go, you know what? As a femininity mentor, I got to see her where she is and how she grew up and where she's coming from and help her navigate that so she does not
and make excuses for her.
I have an answer for that.
Because she's gonna turn around and have a fatherless baby just like her dumbass mama did.
That's
the problem.
Not at
she's listening. Real quick, I'm not gonna say
a lot of women don't want to do that. They don't want to. And those that are listening,
they don't want to do it, but they busting that ass open.
They'll bust that ass open though.
Okay, but I don't focus on women who are not listening. There are some sisters out there that are listening. So all I'm saying, y'all,
they bust their ass over like a cut watermelon.
So I understand what you're saying, but you give it to me.
There's no buts.
I understand.
But
it's
still a woman that grew up like that. She's supposed to have it right, like Becky. Come on, that's not even fair.
But she has enough common sense to not do the same thing to her own damn children that her mom did to her.
And
is she not? Is she dumb or something?
That cycle. Can you calm down just a little bit and hear what I said? I'm trying to break the cycle. If more sisters like me will try to take her under the wing and go, you know what? You can understand soft life. Let me show you how to do that.
My whole point is they're not forced in, Michelle. They're making a choice to be dumb just like their mama.
Ready to jump on her. You're so ready to judge her. You're so ready to tell her what she gotta do.
We're ready to leave her ass out in the cold until you gives her damn life together.
Your failure to really this is the problem. Your failure to understand what this lady is saying is really ridiculous. And it displays a high level.
I even got the women wanting to drag women down.
No, it's not even that. The problem is this.
This is hilarious.
What you said, which was vital, you don't pay attention to the people that ain't listening. But that's what's happening. Even in this panel, it's just niggas ain't listening. That's the issue that I'm seeing here.
But they want sex though.
Hold on.